Welcome to Coleman Ambulance. Please, hurry. My husband, the perpetual thorn in my side, collapsed gracefully to the floor. Paramedics arrived swiftly, expertly assessing him and transferring him onto a stretcher. Are you his wife? They asked. Would you think otherwise? I retorted. Can you come with us to the hospital? As they secured him, his eyes pleaded with me. I met his gaze unflinchingly. Sorry, I can't, I declared with unwavering certainty. I'm sorry, what? His voice was edged with panic. I won't be coming, I don't know this man. Excuse me? I was firm. I'll take it from here. Christina, wait, he implored. It was time to reveal what I'd harbored for days. His face blanched at my words. The way you've treated me, like a servant, is inexcusable. This is my recompense. I can't forgive you. My name is Christina. I'm a 36-year-old who once worked full-time before becoming a homemaker. Kevin and I live in a rented apartment, introduced by a colleague with a vast social network. I usually shun social events, preferring solitude with films and cooking. But one invitation to a barbecue, insisted upon by a colleague, changed that. The barbecue was bustling when I arrived. Kevin was there, my future husband. I kept to myself, nursing a drink, until a co-worker brought Kevin over, thinking we'd hit it off over shared interests. Kevin's unexpected approach caught me off guard, but he struck up a conversation effortlessly. His love for the outdoors was as clear as his sun-kissed skin. Talking to him revealed his sociable, humorous side. Despite our shared preference for quieter, indoor pursuits, we found common ground and a spark ignited between us. We exchanged numbers, eager to meet again. Our dates, dinner, shopping, blossomed into a relationship, and eventually, marriage. Kevin had always been considerate, encouraging me out of my shell. Yet, as years passed, a shift occurred. I left my job to become a housewife at his urging, but his words grew sharp with sarcasm. One evening, ill and late with dinner, I returned home to his cold indifference. Christina, why the delay? He asked, as I apologized, explaining my sickness. Freshen up, he said, dismissing my discomfort. You're the homemaker, dinner should be ready. His apathy stung anew. Kevin, there's a reunion back home, I ventured later. I've finished my chores. May I go? Do what you want, he replied. His words were kind, but they masked a patronizing tone. He would carry my purse, bring me flowers, but his kindness felt hollow, a veneer over the growing distance between us. At times, Kevin's demeanor soured. I once suggested part-time work, thinking it might please him, but he was staunchly opposed. So, I remained a housewife. Then, an unexpected call from one of Kevin's relatives came through. With a guarded heart, I answered. Panic laced their voice as they uttered my name. Kevin's mother had collapsed. I braced for worse news. The relative had found her motionless in the yard and called for an ambulance, which whisked her to the hospital. I rushed to the hospital, where I learned her condition was precarious. Kevin arrived, breathless. We entered the room. His mother lay amidst a tangle of tubes, a sight that clenched my heart. Kevin tried to rouse her, to no avail. He stayed by her side, while I went home for overnight essentials. In time, she regained strength to sit without help, though full recovery seemed distant. It's good she's sitting, I said, thinking of her next challenge, walking. With her discharge nearing, I broached the topic with Kevin. That's when he dropped a bombshell. Oh? Ready for what? I asked. We're moving out next week, he said. Start packing. Kevin's dissatisfaction was palpable, his tone suggesting my confusion was a disappointment. We're moving in with my mom at my parents' house. You're not catching on, are you? The words stung. Was I to live with my mother-in-law post-hospital? I wasn't aware, I replied, my frustration mounting. Why decide without me? Is our lease even terminated? His mood darkened. Yes, the lease is cancelled. It's best for us to support her together. His implication was clear, my reluctance was unwelcome. He strode to his room, leaving me to absorb the shock of his unilateral decision. The idea of leaving our home, his disregard for my input, it was all too much. I sighed deeply. Days later, I found myself in a new role as a caregiver, a world alien to me. I tended to my mother-in-law's needs, feeding, bathing, helping her with the restroom. Our connection was strained, she was reticent, often retreating to her bed, claiming pain despite being in good health. We'd had a decent rapport before, sharing treats from the store. Maybe she wasn't accustomed to being cared for. As for Kevin, the architect of this new arrangement, he was hardly ever home. Kevin hardly ever came home after work, preferring the company of drinks and dawn returns, even on his days off. His routine was predictable: come home, find an excuse to leave, then lose himself in video games until the small hours. One day, I decided to confront him mid-game. I know work and socializing take up time, but could you spare some for your mother at home? Perhaps help with chores? I asked. Why are you so naive? He retorted, eyes glued to the screen. You handled the house and caregiving. I'm tired from work. Make me coffee, clean this mess, and take these to the dry cleaner for Wednesday. He tossed his clothes at me without a glance. That's enough, I snapped. I've managed the house and cared for your mother for a month straight. I need a break. Can't you help, even a little? Kevin slammed the controller down, standing with a fierce resolve. Disrespect me? Who do you think provides for you? If you have a problem, leave. Organize your things and go. I empathize with my mom, he continued. She'd be left alone if you left. I wanted to speak, to protest, but words failed me. The discovery of the letter was unexpected. With a can of sweets, a gift from a time when things were simpler, came a wave of emotions. The words "Dear Christina" written on the envelope were both inviting and ominous. What could the letter contain? An apology? A confession? Or perhaps guidance from a woman who had become a significant part of my life, even under strained circumstances. The situation had been complex. I had savings, but not enough to leave without consequence. And despite the hardship, leaving my mother-in-law, who was dependent on me, wasn't an option I could live with. But now, she was gone, and the burden of care had lifted, replaced with a different kind of weight, grief and relief intermingled with guilt. After her passing, I found myself in a state of suspended animation, the days blurring into the wake and funeral. 2 weeks slipped by in a haze until I faced the task of sorting through her belongings. It was a somber process, packing away the remnants of a life. The discovery of the can with the letter marked a pause in the mundane task of tidying. I opened the letter with trembling hands, and the words of my mother-in-law reached out from the past. Her acknowledgement of the inconvenience her care had caused me, her expression of regret for the daily imposition, struck a chord. It was a moment of humanity shared posthumously, a connection that transcended the difficulties we had faced together. It was a message that, perhaps, would offer closure or a new understanding of the woman whose life had become so entwined with my own. The letter from my mother-in-law had been a revelation, shedding light on her awareness of Kevin's self-centeredness and its toll on me. She had even suggested I consider a new path, one that aligned with my own happiness. Her parting words of gratitude for the care I provided in her final days had struck a chord, unleashing a torrent of pent-up emotions. Now, 10 days after that discovery, Kevin's treatment of me hadn't improved. He continued to issue commands as if I were staff, not his partner. On this day, our wedding anniversary, which he seemed to have completely forgotten, his demands were as insistent as ever. Christina, find my sock. Make sure the car is washed. Prepare dinner. Clean my room and the bathroom, he rattled off, oblivious to the significance of the date. His arrogance left me speechless, and his urgency as he suddenly doubled over in pain, demanding I call an ambulance, only added to the surreal nature of the moment. As I watched him writhing and sweating, his pleas for haste clashed with the newfound serenity that had settled over me. It was as if the chaos around me had slowed, offering a moment of clarity amidst the turmoil. Upon calling 911, the paramedics arrived promptly, quickly assessing Kevin and preparing him for transport to the hospital. As they loaded him onto the stretcher, they inquired if I wanted to accompany them, noting the urgency in Kevin's eyes. I met his gaze with a resolute calm and declined. I won't be coming, I don't know this man, I stated, my voice steady. Kevin seemed to lose his grip on the situation, his voice laced with disbelief. It was then that I handed him the documents that had been weighing in my pocket for days, the divorce papers I had signed during our last major argument. Kevin had always made it clear that any defiance from me could lead to divorce. Now, as he lay immobilized on the stretcher, he tried to reach for the papers, but it was too late. Sorry, but you need to leave, I said as the paramedics wheeled him away. Once the ambulance had left, I swiftly moved to leave the house we had shared. The divorce proceedings moved forward, and during Kevin's hospitalization, I busied myself with packing and sending my belongings to my parents' house. When I encountered Kevin again, this time at the grocery store, his plea was desperate. Christina, please don't do this. Do you have any feelings left for me? I need you. I admit I've made mistakes, he implored, but I had heard it all before. My decision was made, my path was clear, and my response was firm. Kevin's once domineering presence had faded, leaving behind a figure that seemed pitiable. "What are you talking about?" he asked, bewildered by my stance on our finalized divorce. I told him firmly that it was too late for delicacies and that he should move on, embracing his own freedom as I had embraced mine. His shock was evident, his hands trembling, his face pale. Months had passed since our separation when Kevin appeared at my parents' house, insistently buzzing the intercom and calling my name loudly enough that I had to confront him. He pleaded for reconciliation, but I remained silent as he described his current lifestyle. He had become dependent on TV dinners or eating out, his weight had noticeably increased, and his laundry skills were lacking, evidenced by his wrinkled and stale-smelling shirts. "Your work was really something, Christina," he admitted, breaking down in tears. "I might lose my colleagues' respect if I don't sort myself out." But his tears didn't sway me. I had no intention of returning to a life of servitude. "Please stop," I warned him, "or I'll have to call the police." He looked at me as if I were a stranger. The mention of the police amplified his fear, and he left abruptly. It was clear that Kevin's life without the conveniences I had provided was challenging for him. Meanwhile, I enjoyed a rather comfortable lifestyle for a period of time. I used to reside at my parents' humble abode, but now I've opted for a cozy apartment of my own. I've noticed a significant decrease in my standard of living since I separated from my ex-husband. However, I still enjoy the freedom of having control over my own time. Surprisingly, despite my age, I managed to secure another job thanks to a fortunate connection. A friend of mine knew someone who had retired, and I was fortunate enough to step into their position. I am delighted to have the freedom to indulge in my own desires without any interference. Starting now, I am determined to prioritize self-care and go at my own rhythm.